and a rational mind, and they're not the same thing. Albert Einstein pointed to this when he said we have a society that honors, the intellectual mind and ignores the intuitive mind. He said, but really it's backwards. It is the intuitive mind that is the king, and the intellectual mind the humble servant. But we have become trained into giving so much power and so much credence to this intellectual mind. And so we're trying to think our way into transcendence. It can't work that way. Just breathe on that for a moment while I have a sip. When I speak about this, and you look back on your own experiencing, are you remembering times where you have maybe experienced something like this? I see one yes.
You've been abducted like that, where you've been transcended. What are you referring to?
When give me a moment. Have you experienced moments of objectivity? Moments of intuition?
I think it happens a lot in sports.
Mike, please. Yes, that's interesting. Yes.
I think that elite athletes are able to operate in that state. I've heard them say that things slow down.
Yes.
Like Michael Jordan on the basketball court.
Yep.
He just sees the net and the path is there.
Yep. They call that being in the zone, right? And when an athlete is in the zone, I heard Tim Duncan talk about this. He's like, sometimes I'm just out on the court and it's like throwing the ball in a lake. Like I just can't miss, And I've experienced that playing darts in a bar when I was a kid, right? And there would be a moment where I would just peak, and it was almost like I was placing the dart on the board. I could put it to this side of the dart or that side of the other dart. I could put it wherever I wanted. It didn't last long, but it was unbelievable how time slowed down and I was in that zone. That's a really good example. Really good example. I always want you to relate what I'm trying to show you to what you're experiencing in life yourself, so that it can start to make sense, because once you've related it to something that you've experienced, then all of a sudden it starts to make much more sense to you. Because that's the part that we're trying to cultivate. We're trying to get the mind out of the way. the mind, the purpose of this talk tonight is to help you see how clearly your mind is constantly coloring your experience. It is your mind that is creating your experience as good or bad. It is your mind that is having all of these problems and issues. It is your mind that is up and down. It's such an annoyance. The more that you meditate and the more that you can be in silence and be without the mind, the more annoying you see the mind is. Because you're getting distance from it and you're starting to realize what your mind is doing. For most people, they don't realize what their mind is doing. I want you to realize what your mind is doing. I want you to become conscious to that which is mostly unconscious for most people. The mind is doing this, and it's always been doing this, so they think that it's normal. And everybody else is doing it, so there's no reason to question it. But then you come here and we question it. The only thing that you're ever having an issue with is your mind. What happens in life happens.